McGee the God.
Melly in your head, boy.
Through the way. Come up way realer than people gon' think. Ain't no way. I'ma sit around, have me not a thing. Going too hard, but I can't relax. I don't need no break. Tell them all gas, no brakes. Niggas can't really relate. Came from the mud, no rake. I'm trying to make a play round base. Always to the shot like Nate. Nigga really trying to be great. Ain't no time for the details. Putting in work all late. Nigga really trying to be great. Through the way. Through the way. Through the way. Through the way. Like
Welcome to the Through the Way podcast. This is the podcast where we talk to the everyday athlete about their experiences in their respective game. This episode is something that I've grown to love and like, and I wish I would have taken more seriously throughout my career. This is a training episode right here. You know, every athlete goes through that phase where they're going to train in the gym, getting up shots, going to the gym and stuff like that. And I have two guests here today who has joined me, who have their own training, who train their own clients and things like that. And the first guest that I have is Matt Gryder. Matt, how are you doing, man?
Good, man. You doing all right?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for being here.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you having me.
Matt went to the same high school I went to. Most of you know that I went to North Davidson High School. Matt was 2 years under me.
Yeah.
So we basically practiced in the same, in the same gym every day. And we kind of had the similar games because we were coached under the same person, Coach Hurt. Shout out Coach Hurt. I talked to him earlier today. Probably one of the best coaches that I had. We were talking about it earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Because he knew how to coach. He knew how to teach us how to play defense and stuff like that. And
yeah.
The second guest that I have, Rashad McGee. Rashad, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Rashad was a senior at Winston before I got there, so I was still at North Davidson. Rashad was on that CIAA championship team at Winston-Salem State, and so he has some knowledge of what it takes at the college level to be successful in the game. So fellas, we just want to talk about the training aspect of it and how important it is to take care of your body, how important it is to get those extra reps of just skill-wise for certain players and in the weight room. Matt, Shad, just speak about the certain things that you teach your clients, and tell the parents.
You want me to go first?
You can go first. Yeah.
Well, I mean, pretty much, it's like you said, there's so many things that go into, like, developing yourself as an athlete. And, I mean, there's only so much time in the day, and so you pretty much have to pick the right time to strategically attack the problems you have, and then on top of that, maintain the weight that you're at or be in good shape to where you can run. It's hard to do all that and, like, learn offense, learn defense. But mainly, I just, depending on what time of the year that it's in, I'd say you start with, if it's in the off season, maybe we work on things that we were weaker at. Try to come back in a different mindset or have more tools when we come back. But if you're in season, trying to maintain what you got in the summertime or in the off season. Because a lot of kids, I think, they think training turns off once you get, like, in season. Mm-hmm. But also around December, a lot of times people's numbers, the dynamics of the team starts to change. People start not playing the minutes that they want to play. Because they haven't been shooting, they ain't been dribbling, they ain't been doing all the things they did to get them there, and they take a break from it, and now next thing you know, they're wondering why I'm not doing as good as I was from the jump. But overall, man, I mean, I mainly focus on, like, skill enhancement just because, like, that's what I feel like that's my niche. But the weights, it's so important. Like, at the end of the day, if I can make somebody dribble really fast or as fast as they possibly can with the ball and they don't lose it, now we have to get faster.
Yeah.
So, like, now that's not really on me to get you faster. You got to go put the work in somewhere else and get faster. And when you start growing, especially boys, they hit that 9th, 10th grade age where they used to shoot from their hip, and now they're big and tall and they're real goofy. The timing messes up. Now you got to figure out what your shot is, and then when you figure it out, if it's not a good shot, now you got to fix that. So going through all those struggles as a player and being a teenager and having all the social media and then the distractions of everything else, it's hard.
Yeah.
So I mean, you really got to stay on everything that you're doing. But I mean, for the most part, I think everybody that's a basketball player, you should do what you love. You should dribble every day. You should shoot every day. It's like I think it's weird that basketball is one of the only sports that a lot of times most team scrimmages, they do that in practice. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, but if you go to baseball practice, they don't scrimmage. They normally work on like what you're going to do. If you go to football practice, you don't just hit and tackle. You work on like technique on how to tackle, how to take these angles, how to read this. Basketball, a lot of times it's like, man, go play more. You'll get it. Play more. But I mean, it might work for some people, but it's not going to work for everybody. If you're trying to work your way up in something that you love, you might have to attack it in a different way.
I think you hit on the head, man. It's just a balance, balancing training and playing. And I try to focus on getting kids to build habits. You know, you play professional, and you have to make training a habit as a part of what you do. As far as the weight room and everything, like he said, it's no point in being as skilled as you can be and you're not quick enough to get around anybody. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, you're a great shooter, but you can't get open to shoot. So the thing I teach is building habits, getting a habit of training, enjoying training, try to get kids to enjoy the process of training, of getting better, or of sharpening your game and looking at your game as a whole. Like, don't get caught up into, okay, you've probably seen this, the biggest middle schooler, all they teach them is post moves. Instead of expanding this game or any rec league, you go see the big kids, they push them to the post. Prime example, I had a kid, I coached my youngest son's 7-year-old team, and the biggest kid on the team, I almost fell into that trap, but I was like, man, let him handle the ball because he could see.
Oh, yeah.
He was the only one that was willing to pass and could see. And I was like, man, you handle the ball. So I just when I train kids, I try to train them as a whole. I don't focus on a position. I train it to where you can be the best player you can be, to where a coach just put him in the game.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right now, basketball is a positionless game. Like, everybody can shoot, everybody can dribble. Like, we got to teach everybody, like you said, the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's funny you say that because I'm thinking about when you got recruited to Winston, how you was, I mean, stretch four wasn't even a thing yet, but you could shoot already, and it was like kind of trying to push you in the post, and I'm like, you was one of them different type of athletes to where he ain't really a post player. You know what I mean? He can play down there because he's big and strong, but I think you was kind of one of them different athletes. It's funny you say that sometimes we put players in a box, and that's one of my pet peeves when I became a trainer. Like, as a coach, I understand it, but as a trainer, for the development of the kids, man, you gotta teach these kids as a whole at an early age.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because I mean, I've had a lot of like kids that are like post players, and they come to me and like, we work on dribbling.
Yeah.
Like, you still got to dribble the ball around the basket. And if you think about like, that's where like in practice, most time post players go down here, guards come down here. You do post work. If you think about it, if I practiced for 2.5 hours, and in that 2.5 hours, every time I touched the ball, I was told not to put it on the ground and pass it, or when I do put it on the ground, or when you think it's the time for me to put it on the ground, I don't do it right.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to get better at it?
Yeah.
Without that,
it's funny. What you said, coaches do that, but they have sets and plays that require their players to handle the ball.
Yeah.
And then you mad at them for turning it over. It's like, if he hadn't been working on ball handling, not saying that he'll use any of those dribble moves, but being comfortable handling the ball so he can handle a press or, you know, get in the set, because he's gonna have the ball at some point,
Right,
handling it.
Sometimes we'll play a team where they'll play 94 feet on the point guard. If your point guard gets rattled, or you know they have a nagging injury, or they just can't get the ball over, you need someone else to bring the ball to the floor. You need to be able to run your offense with, you know, that person other than the point guard.
Right.
And when we had Peak and Lowen here, they mentioned that Stitt took their shooting away. Like, as a point guard, you know,
I dealt with it.
Like,
Yeah.
he didn't let you shoot.
Right.
And Lowe and Pete felt like they came. Lowe was the MVP of the state title game for it.
Man, it's funny you mentioned Lauren Pete and then my dogs, man. But like, they both had. I started over them, but they both had better high school resumes than me. Like they both were state champions. Like you know what I'm saying? Lowe, you know, man, I ain't saying it, but Lowe put Chris Paul out of playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His senior year.
Still talk about
And
it.
but those guys made me who I was.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they could have started easily. Like I'll even say they probably Pete and Lowe might have been better than me, but it's just like you said. It's sometimes you can play for certain people that can get you to a place where you're not playing at your full
And
potential.
I think that's why I came in and started, because I was in that structured place at North Davidson, because we played defense. We were, we had plays set in set place, and it fit right in Stitt's offense.
Yeah.
And Stitt's defense, like I was just that person. I wanted to play. I wanted to, be that type of player that did everything that the coach said.
Yeah.
And I think, coming from North, I did that in practice, and that got me the starting spot. And everybody was like, well, Maul the coach's son, coach like Maul, he doesn't. Nah,
Man,
that's just 'cause I work.
Respectfully, I'm gonna disagree. You got the starting spot because you was a freak of an athlete. Day one, he walked through the door and was the best athlete, one of the best athletes on the team. I mean, and I like I said, I ain't blowing smoke, but that's why you started.
But that
You
mental
came in, you was
preparation,
different.
that's why you felt so comfortable in the
Fact.
moment, because he had done, like, even though, like, his high school team wasn't training, but in a sense, it got him ready for what he was doing. So you felt comfortable where you weren't shy in those moments.
Yeah.
And you could be you.
And I got some help with Darnell leaving, Ollie being hurt,
Right.
and I guess Greg not panning out to where everyone thought he wanted to be.
Yeah.
I think it was just in his head and stuff like that. So it was a lot of factors that went into it. And the thing with Winston versus the big schools, like we saw, you played UNC, you played that team that won the national championship. You can tell the difference between a program that has individual workouts, training, weights.
Well, they pros. I mean, what you learned is between pros and like just regular college players. You know what I mean? Like as far as when we used to go over to Wake and run pickup when Chris and them was over there, just like you said, the facilities and just being on that regiment schedule training, like that. Like you said, that's when you start seeing the difference in levels. You know what I mean? I don't even know if it's a talent difference as much as it is a difference in routine and difference in schedules. And like you said, you probably seen at the pro level. You got them vets who've been over there, got their routine. You know what I mean? It's a habit. So
Oh, yeah.
I think if you can get kids to where training is just a habit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. That's why I say I think every kid should dribble. If I'm a basketball player, I should do some type of dribbling, something every day for a set amount of time. If you do that day in and day out, like I always say, it's like building your hands. But you want to be able to go as fast as you can. And in those moments, if you don't ever practice it fast, not necessarily fast with a full motion, but like that, because a lot of times you tell kids cross over as fast as you can, they just start tapping the ball. They're not getting the full motion of their crossover because it feels slow.
That's a fact.
Yeah, well, it is slow. We need to build that up to where when you make a mistake going fast, you ain't got to do no push-ups or nothing. Like, just do it again and again and again. And tomorrow we're going to do it again. And after you do that over time, you start your body works great. Like, the way your brain works. Like, if you tell your body to do something, even if you fail 100 times at it, if you can keep the mindset, I'm going to keep trying for 100 times at the pace I am and not change anything up, like to cheat or to make it easier, you'll get it. I mean, and you learn so many other things in that process that's what training's all about, really. It's
To me,
building your self-esteem.
Sorry to cut you off, but to me, that's one of my favorite parts of training, seeing that light bulb come on.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, your body will do exactly what you teach it to do. It don't matter where you take it. You take a kid that could barely dribble a ball, you take them 3 weeks from now with just doing one drill, and you'll see a tremendous difference. Like that part of training is almost addictive to me to see that, and just to see it in yourself. When you work on something as a player, and you finally get it and it's clicking.
Oh yeah.
And you look at the coach, he see it, you know it, everybody
Like,
knows.
this is what you want me to do,
like,
right?
Yeah,
Okay,
you got
I
it.
got you.
You got it, man. I'm addicted to that right there. But I don't know about y'all. One of the things that got me in training too was my dad was my high school coach, and he was assistant my first 3 years, and then my senior year he was head coach. But his main thing was what we call skill development. Like they didn't call it training. You know what I mean? Nobody had a trainer. It was just skill development. He would take the guards, and we kind of had individuals and stuff like that. So I think that's another thing. If your coach is doing that as a young player, you really need to focus on that and take that serious.
Oh, yeah.
If he giving you time in your practice to work on individual skills, which some coaches tend to neglect, they spend more time on system rather than developing the player.
And then with that, the coaches, how the coaches approach the players, how much of that is you deferring what the coach is teaching them to versus what you're teaching them?
You go ahead. You can handle this one first.
I try to make it fit. Like varsity level players, I'll literally ask him, okay, where you getting your touches at? You know what I mean? Where you getting your set? If they in season, like you talked about that, depending on the timing. So I do try to work with coaches. I don't call them, but I ask the player, okay, what's your set? Okay, you working off ball screen from what spot? So we'll work on different reads.
Yeah, you got to understand the dynamics.
Yeah, and understand where you're going to get your catches. Like we ran, I'll give you an example. When we ran OU in college, I knew when I cut through and I come off that stagger, I was working on that shot because I'm like, if I get, we got limited shots, but if I get any crease on that stagger,
oh yeah,
I'm gonna be ready to knock that down.
Yeah.
So I teach players to do that because, like you said, it takes the guesswork out, and then you can train some killers, man. And once you know what you're doing, you can train some killers once you know where you're gonna get your catches. So to answer your question, I definitely try to work with coaches as well as enhancing the whole player because you want to get on the court. Right. If I teach you a bunch of stuff that you ain't gonna use in your system, you know what I mean?
And that's the name of the game. Most people come to a trainer to like get on the court or to score more points on the court. So at the end of the day, you're not trying to mess them up. So I always do that too. Like I always ask, I want to get the dynamics. Are you allowed to shoot? If you shoot a three, how do they feel about that? Like you said, where do you get the ball at? Do y'all normally run sets, or is it just freelance? Like, what are we doing?
Fact.
And once you get the understanding of that, that's what I did when I coached. I was an assistant coach for 5 years.
Yeah.
And since I wasn't the one doing all the head coaching job, that was kind of like my niche. Like we had a couple plays, and I would set up drills to where it's like, all right, the guards, are you gonna learn how to flare a screen? You gonna learn how to curl a screen? You learn how to do this, do that. But it pretty much we repped out our whole play in a drill.
Yeah.
And that was like my coaching. That's what I did when I was there. But now I try to go a little bit more in detail of like, I think everybody's got the capability to do just about anything. Like you got two arms, like I got two arms, so I shouldn't be able to do something you shouldn't be able to do. Yeah. It's just either I figured it out and you didn't, or however you want to look at it. But a lot of things I think in basketball, it's like, I don't know how long it took y'all to like ride a bike, but in the beginning it seemed impossible. You might have tried for 2 hours, 3 days. Some kids, it takes them a long time. But when you finally get it right, you're kind of like, oh, that ain't that bad. Right. Okay, like I didn't have to. All right, I can do this. Now you didn't have to ride the bike 1,000 times to get good at it. You just had to figure it out. Just like a lot of skills in basketball. Now there's levels to riding a bike. Then once you figure it out, you got to enhance that. But figuring it out is normally half the battle with like, especially like younger kids. Some kids, like you said, post players, they box themselves in like, I ain't supposed to dribble. I can't do it. I don't even want to try it. And it's like, you don't know how many people, like when I get post players, if I bring out tennis balls or anything med ball, 2-ball dribbling, you can see them like start to clam up like, oh gosh. And it's like they're afraid of that mistake. And it's like, that's what we're here for. Like if you can't just imagine what that'll put to your game. And I think drills like that, I don't know if you do a lot of that in your training, but I like the tennis ball stuff. I like having a distraction because I think it trains your mind like mentally. Like for a point guard, when I'm driving to the basket or if I'm going, there's a lot going on. Like I have to, for one, maybe my coach don't want me to shoot. Maybe there's 3 or 4 people over. Depending on like the situation, there might be somebody open. Do I shoot it? Do I pass it? If I can't do all that thinking without keeping my dribble at a good pace, that's going to dictate what level or like how much playing time I got. The really good players, if you look at like especially the pros like Steph and them, it's almost like this is a motor, and their brains just think it. Like they're just pretty much like they get a read and they use this move to get over here.
Yeah.
And then if it happens over here, I'll bring it back. You want kids to have that type of those options and not feel like every time they catch it, they got to pick it up, pass it, or whatever the dynamics is on the team. But it's hard to, like you said, like find that niche or like find like mixing the dynamics of like a team and like.
And I do both. Like I'm on the staff, varsity staff, part time, and then I head coach a travel team. I got 2023 juniors, so I get to see both sides. So from a training aspect, they give me a different perspective because I know what a coach wants. You know what I mean? I'm kind of tapped in to where, okay, coach probably ain't gonna like that. As far as, especially, you know, and I don't want to disrespect or throw shade at any trainer. You know, I don't do a lot of 7-8 dribble combos because if you're not in the pros of James Harden, you're not gonna have that many dribbles to work. Right. So I kind of train from a coach's perspective. Okay, you're gonna have a spot. You probably gonna have 3-4 dribbles in this space to work. You know what I mean? Because if you're too far over here, it's probably gonna be a guy right here. It's probably gonna be a guy right here. So I think it's important that if you are a trainer, I'm not gonna say you got to be on somebody's staff, but you got to be connected to somebody's staff to where you can, you know, like you said, you got a varsity coach that you cool with. So you can just be tapped into what coaches are thinking because ultimately they make the decisions as far as who plays and who doesn't. You know, I see a lot of trainers be like, man, my guy should be playing, but are you showing the guy the things to get him on the court, right? It's one thing, again, to develop individually, but if you don't get on the court.
Oh, yeah. I watch game film on a lot of the players I train because I want to get out of it. I can't go to everybody's game. I can't do all that. But you don't know how many times I've came in there and be like, listen, like, yeah, this is our weakness, but, you know, you ain't sprinting, like, the floor.
Right.
Like, and it's like, when the ball, like, you need to run from this rim to that rim. Like, you see how you're jogging here or little stuff. Like, I mean, the ball's over here. You're supposed to be at help side, but you're all the way in the corner. Like, you stop doing some of those things.
Right.
That has nothing to do with what I'm teaching you, but those are that'll get you in the game.
That'll get you out of the game,
and nobody
too.
wants to rebounds like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that'll get you out of the game. But with that stuff you said is what young players miss.
Right.
It's like, okay, man, I should be playing more. Okay, bro, you ain't box out twice, though. Like, you late on your rotation. Like, you said it, like, and players will miss that. Well, they'll get caught up. I'm better than so-and-so.
Yeah, but you don't listen.
Yeah, but Johnny, he'll box out every time. Like, he's going to step up and take a charge. He's not the better player than you, and I think a lot of players that find themselves on a bench and not playing a lot, or I should be playing, I think they miss those type of things you talked about. And film is definitely a secret weapon as a trainer. So.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I would have taken, you know, each aspect of everything seriously in high school and college. Because after practice, I would just go straight home.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to stay in the gym. After games, I wouldn't want to shoot. I remember it was just one game that I went to the gym and shot free throws, and that was a game my senior year that I missed free throws to put us back in the game or to win the game. And I think it was the only time that I went to the gym and shot after you know the game. And I think a lot of kids get into their head that you know they put in work during the week, during practice, or during the summer, but they don't have to do it, you know, on game days or before games or. You know, you look at these college programs, they go to the weight room right after practice.
Man, after
we just left. We went to the calf. Like,
and think about if I shoot every day, if I lift weights every day and I shoot every day at practice, and then I don't do it on game day, there's a difference there. Now, everything's not the same. I practice this way all week long, and now the game's here, and I'm not doing that. Because, you know, most basketball players don't want to work out anyways.
Man, I've been seeing guys in the league now, especially the Phoenix Suns, after the game, they get like a little functional lift in. I'm like, man, that's different. Like, I kind of want to see the science behind that because I've been seeing that pop up.
Yeah.
As far as like getting a little lift in, like after the game, you know what I mean? As far as that, but just the detail, like you said. But I want to ask you because you played that full D1 schedule. You know, we got a sample size. What was the Did you see a big difference in skill level, or was it just the type of athlete and the size of the athlete, or was the skill level like different?
The skill level wasn't as different as far as them having more of the same Division I athlete. Like when we played Georgetown, their starting lineup was 6'8".
That was Hibbert in there,
Roy
right?
Hibbert, Jeff Green.
Jeez.
He was Patrick Ewing Jr. there. So when they took a 6'8" off the floor, another 6'8" came in. We didn't have that. Like I was like my freshman year, I was 6'6", starting at the 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the CIAA is. CIAA in Division II is just smaller.
Right.
But when you go to these bigger programs, they have the means and resources to recruit, all 6'8", 6'6" point guards, 7-footers and stuff like that. We didn't have that. So when when we played Wake, I think we were only down by like 7 at a certain point in the game.
I remember that, yeah.
And then we get tired. We take out the starters, put in the subs. They put in more starters. Like their bench guys were starters somewhere else. So when we sub out, we subbing out a guy that's not as skilled maybe as the person that's already starting. But when they sub in somebody, they're just as skilled as that person there.
The reason I asked that, because you from Winston, you done played around, pick up with D1 guys, and you be like, you don't be like they not that good, but you be like, you know what I mean? You just be like, man, okay, I'm kind of rocking with this dude, and then I guess that's the difference. You be like, the skill level ain't that much different. It's just it's just more of it.
And I think me and Matt was talking about this earlier. I think it's location of where you are, the school that you at, and if you're getting those looks. Because I'm in the same area as maybe I just use an example. I'm in the same area as Kevin Swin.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Swin was in the same class as me. He's 2 inches taller. We're playing the same position. I'm 6'6". My natural position is on the wing.
Mm-hmm.
His natural position is in the post. So we're playing the same position. He gets Division I scholarships, and he ultimately goes to Wake. I'm getting one Division I scholarship, and I ultimately go to Winston.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's having someone else on the floor with you, because we didn't have anybody else that was Division I on the team. Kevin had someone else that was Division I on the team, and I think having somebody else with you, it goes back to my point at Georgetown and Kansas and all those Division I schools that we played. Like you played Carolina, they subbed out. Somebody else came back in.
Well, I got a correction on that. I was supposed to play. I got to. Long story. That's in the Winston episode. I had a 3-game suspension to where I didn't get to play against Chris Paul, Raymond Felton, and then we played Radford too. So I was suspended in the first 3 games. But I did see the games. I tell you about a story about that game, man. And shout out to my dogs. They fought hard. I walked in the game and I walked in the arena, and I think Winston, we might have been up 7-9. Or it was 9-7, something to 7. By the time I got to my seat, it was like 25-9 or 7. By the time but like you said, man, it was in waves. Like, and Pete told the story. Pete probably told the story. He said he was on the free throw line. He was like, man, come on, fellas. He said Raymond Felton tapped him like, man, don't be mad, man. You ain't gonna be there.
and those big schools, they know they can beat us. When we played Division III schools, we was like, man, we watch them, right? Because especially when we played them at home. Yeah. But when we saw it, like when we went to Kansas, and this was during Christmas break.
They set y'all up, bro. Like
this was during Christmas break, and that whole field house was full.
Yeah.
Packed. And you think, we're going to go there in Kansas, nobody going to see us play. Man, that whole state saw us get blown out by 50. And then we go, in that same month, we go to Georgia Tech, we go to Auburn, we go to Notre Dame, Georgetown, and we play in these big schools, and we're seeing, all these people who are more advanced in their, in their program.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the resources, we didn't have the weight programs, we didn't have the meal programs that they have, and I think that we had our one-on-ones and our skill development, but that was after the track when we were already tired.
Yeah,
we had to run 6-minute mile, we had to run 400s, 200s, 100s, and then we go individual training.
And it wasn't really I love Coach Brown. You had Coach Brown,
I had
right?
Coach Stitt.
But I'm saying Coach Brown was assistant.
Coach Brown was there.
And they was good, but they wasn't player development guys. They knew come in, get your shots up, but it wasn't.
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like professional, and they did a good job. Like we was in condition, we was in pretty good shape. But another thing about that season, man, they set y'all up. Like I remember being in they set y'all like these NCAA tournament teams. Like it wasn't like okay, we going D1. You know, get you an App State. Man, they went Kansas.
Oh, we were
UAB.
watching you on TV.
Kansas won that year.
Kansas won. Georgetown went to the tournament. UAB went to the tournament. NC State, Kansas State, Michael Beasley. I was like, man, why they do these boys like that?
Yeah, I got it.
Like it wasn't like a regular D1 schedule. Y'all played like a.
we were playing an ACC schedule.
Yeah,
for real.
For real,
like
bro.
that. There's a video. I don't know if it's still on YouTube or not, but there's when we played Kansas State, we would go. That was Michael Beasley's freshman year, and at that time he was being a phenom. He was scoring like 30 points, and I was playing help side, and he had drove past somebody, and he went up for a dunk, and I blocked it. Well, during halftime, we don't know who, but we know who. Someone told. I think it was one of the coaches. They told Beasley that I said Beasley who after I blocked him on his dunk. It was Roy Pick who said that. So just because it was me that I blocked him, like they coach, he got him fired up. Yeah, he came out and outscored our whole team in the second half. Yeah, and that's the difference with those athletes. Like we were just happy to play.
Fact.
Beasley was a first round draft pick.
Yeah.
And we're Division II schools. We traveling and everything like that. And I think the traveling part got to us sometimes.
Fact.
And we only had 6 home games, that season.
That's why it was probably a new world when y'all like did all that, because like it really does like your scheduling. Like I mean, I played college, but I didn't get to do all the fun stuff y'all got to do. Yeah. But I played at DCC for 1.5 years. But when I was there, it was like we had so much. It was a newer program, or like they hadn't had everything set up, but it was like we were doing all these practices, all these workouts, and like I'm thinking I went to like a junior college, like it's gonna be like easy. He tried to make it like Carolina, and like after all the stuff that we would do, like I think before we went to our little tournament at the end of the year, we had a meeting with the coach as like a team, and we told him like we need a break, like we gotta have like just give us one day. Yeah. Because he literally like we didn't have days off, like we practiced 7 days in a row, and then if we had a game, we went back, and if we didn't, we were watching film, and even on the days we'd watch film, he'd be like, I know I said we weren't going to do anything, but y'all put your shoes on.
That sound like Steve.
And he used to be like, dang, man. And, like, it was just we were doing a lot for what we were, which I'm not mad at the work. I think it helped me become the person I am. Mm-hmm. But if that would have been a little bit more strategic and not just, like, go, do more, do more. Yeah. Like you said, when I left after the game, but, like, if you can tell me why it's beneficial, I might check it out. Yeah. But, like, I think some people just think, you got to just grind and you got to like get out there and like run. But if you run a mile, that ain't gonna make you faster. You ran a lot. Fact. You can get faster.
That's a fact.
So
that's a fact.
But yeah,
man, we speaking of practice, man, you were saying how we used to go home and go to the calf after practice, because man, we might practice 2.5, 3 hours like in our practice. So we press so. You know what I mean? It ain't like our practice is up and down pretty much the whole time. Our practice consists of conditioning on top of sprints. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you got that ladder at the end.
Man, we were talking about that. We were talking about that ladder on the Winston episode. Like we talk about how we got up to 21. Yeah. And
what's the ladder?
The ladder is all right. So
you done it for 3, 5, 9.
Oh, okay, okay.
We got up to 21 and we ran for 3 days, bro, over Christmas break.
Because we couldn't. You had to make the time.
Yeah.
And you get up like you start at 3 and 15. That's up, down, then back, and but you got to cross the free throw line by 15 seconds.
I got you.
3, 5, 7, 9. When it gets to 7, it's 7 and 40.
That's when it get tricky.
That's because if you think about it, 3 and 15, all right, that's cool. 5 and 30, that's cool. But 7 and 40, you only get 10 seconds between those two lines.
Yeah, that's
and when you get up to 21,
9 and 55, that one tough.
But see, the thing is, you got to come back down. We got to come back down. So if you get all the way up to 21, you coming back down.
Yeah.
And the thing is, everybody has to make it.
That's always the hard part.
And you got to make your free throw. So we got the 21 because, people was missing their free throws. Like, bro, I done been fighting, man, in practice.
Oh, yeah, man.
I done been ready to fight dudes in practice just over free throws. Like, bro, what you doing, bro?
I don't think kids now got that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's not how they do things now. Like, I've trained a couple people this past year where it's like I can tell like I'm like, you're supposed to be a leader on the team. I know like you're one of the main players. Like, how's practice going? He's like, oh, it was good vibes. And I'm like, good vibes. Like, y'all just got beat really bad. Like, what do you mean good vibes? I'm like, what did you tell so and so? Did y'all make any adjustments? No, it was good energy in the gym. And I'm like, man, like, sometimes like that's why your team's like a family. But at the end of the day, if my family ain't acting right, like, if coach ain't gonna tell you to chill out, I'm gonna tell you chill out. Yeah. You're doing too much.
Yeah, we had a circle, and I didn't know it until I didn't realize it until now. Like, free throws win games. When Coach Stitt told us that we couldn't leave the gym until we made 10 straight. That prepared us at the end of the games when our legs were tired.
Right.
Making free throws.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of kids don't get that now. I think they're just in practice and they're just running plays. They're just scrimmaging. They're not taking the technical stuff
right.
it takes to win the games.
Right.
Like, a lot of teams don't practice defense. We did defense before we did anything.
Yeah.
We did
like
that box. We did that box drill.
Yeah, shell drill. We shell drilled it out, and then we'd add a post player in there. But it was like pretty much the first half of practice was all defense. The next was like we'd do some offense, and then once we would like break it down, then we might last 20 minutes, put it together like this team versus this team, run this play.
Coach Stick come in and be like, this is defensive practice today. The whole day. You know what I mean? Like, to the point to where, like, I think we might have led the conference. Don't quote me on this. We might have led the conference in points allowed, but we might have been last in scoring.
Yeah.
So we wasn't, you wasn't scoring. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't allow you to score, but we wasn't really scoring.
But that was y'all's focus.
That was
the goal.
And we played good defense on the D2 level, but like Jamal said, I think when we took that system to a different type of athlete, like, our defensive scheme relied on wearing you down.
Exactly.
We press on mates. I mean, we press on 2s and 3s. You know what I mean? And then we up in your face, man to man, the whole game. And it's beautiful when it wear teams down. When you like, okay, you see a team almost quit, but like Jamal said, when you get to where they can sub and it's a lottery pick coming in.
Oh yeah.
What was your favorite game in CI? Because my favorite game before I had the freshman wall was probably when we beat Smith at Brayboy.
Yeah.
They were ranked 19 at the time.
Yeah.
They had this nasty dunk. And I'll never forget it. CP dribbled and dropped it off to him. And the whole crowd just went wild. And we literally took them apart, and they were ranked in their own building.
Yeah.
And Brayboy was, at the time, was impossible to win that.
Yeah. Man, my favorite game, man, I got a bunch of favorite games. Any game in CE games was my favorite, but I got a busy story, too. We was playing Fayetteville State, and same type deal. Busy shot fake went baseline. And he climbed the dude, and the band, everybody just ran on the court. They just stopped the game. Like, the game would just stop for a minute, man. And I was like, man, it was just, I mean, people talk about Cameron, and I haven't been in Cameron, but the atmosphere in CE games with the band, when that happened right there, that was pandemonium, man. That probably was my favorite game right there, when Busy climbed dude and everybody just. The game just stopped.
And I always wondered why Busy was at Winston. Like, I knew why, but I was like, Busy is so much better than this right here.
Right. Why is he here?
Like, he had 1,000 in just 3 years, and in state system.
Right.
That's big.
Being held back. Yeah.
Because you don't, like, if you get 10 points, that's a lot of points in the system. Like, I didn't understand that then, but I do now.
15 and state system is 20.
A lot of people don't even understand. I know what you're saying by that. Like, just. That's why when it comes to like coaches, like some of them, like they'll live and die by that system, even if that system ain't that good.
Yeah.
Not saying that they shouldn't believe in what they're teaching, but it's like you got to know how to adjust a little bit on the fly. And if you focus on putting that system in all the time, like there's got to be. Maybe I don't have to pass it here to set this screen. If this kid can dribble and this kid can dribble, because if these two kids can't dribble, I got to figure out a way to get the ball over here.
Well, what you said, it go back to training them all. Like, okay, you got a system. you got to train kids for your system.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if, and I don't want to disparage coaches because the system was a good system, but like you said, he didn't play no deviating from that system.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if we maybe we did. I don't know if we trained for the system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
I get what you're saying.
like our thing was get the ball inside. You know what I'm saying? Like and our system really was just a variation of Carolina system. Another Carolina story.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't gonna cuss on here, but he was like, Rashad McCann's Roy was like, man, they running out. Like, y'all really gonna run out? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all gonna run our system on us? Like, we ran their secondary and everything. And once they knew what the guys were
ran that too. We ran that in high school and in college.
Yeah.
It was a little bit different in college, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, they showed us what it looked like.
Well, coming from North Carolina, you know, that's Carolina's secondary system is almost, you know, made for everybody to run. And when you try to run it against the team who is made for, it's not gonna work out.
Yeah.
Like,
they calling out
just
the
like in
counters.
practice, you know, like if you practice, that's when I was coaching. It used to make me mad because it's like, don't cheat the play. Like we're trying to. If you don't give me a good simulation, then I can't.
Right.
But I bet if you play somebody was running my plays, I'd know how to cheat it because you got some of those practice players. They'll get a bunch of steals in practice because they're cheating all the time.
Yeah.
Matt, what was your favorite memory at North?
Gosh, I don't know, man. There's so many. Pretty much, I guess, probably the trips we took. Like when we take trips, Christmas break, because we get to like go somewhere. We'd always get into like a little something. Coach hurt, somebody would get mad. Then like it was just always fun. I guess we lost the game one time. We were losing at halftime, and this wasn't even one of those trips. But this is a funny moment. Good Coach Hurt story. C.J. Wilkes, I think he holds the record at North Davidson for taking the most charges.
Wow.
He has prided himself on that though. Like
I love dudes like that though.
Oh yeah.
You don't know CJ. Well,
yeah.
No, I'm saying I'm charged dude. I love dudes that take charges.
CJ may have the record, but CJ didn't get on my nerves as much as Chris Glass. If you remember Chris Glass, Chris Glass was that person who would do everything on the defensive side. Like Chris Glass was about your height, but he was a pest on defense.
Yeah.
He was Patrick Beverly, pretty much at North.
Yeah.
Like, he was that person you hated play against, but you wanted him on
as
your
a
team.
coach. They're my favorite type of players now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
oh yeah.
You hate
Coach
him.
loved him.
Yeah.
But we're playing. I think we were playing Mount Tabor at home, and somebody dropped for the play before that. Somebody drove, and Matt Taylor didn't step up. Or like he got a blocking charge. He didn't step over and take the charge. Cool. The next play comes down. They drive again. I don't even remember it. Somebody else didn't take a charge. And then on the third one, like C.J. Wilkes steps over. He's got a cracked rib at the time from taking a charge in the game before. He steps over there and takes one. Boom. Then maybe 3 or 4 plays later, somebody else didn't take a charge again because we were playing Mount Tabor. They were running on us. Like they were driving every other time. We were in help side because we knew where to be. But he got so mad when I think it was Matt that didn't take the charge. He got so mad he left. Like our bench is right here. He just walks out in the hallway, and we can hear him out there breaking stuff. Like he's out there slamming stuff, and then like Coach Kerr and Coach Staten, they get up. They're like, we got to go get him. They're like trying to comment. You can see him like walking back and forth, like he's snapping clipboards. Well, and what's even crazier, our high school coach, like for the community, which he is a great guy, but like everybody knows him as like, hey man, how you doing?
Yeah.
They never saw the flip,
Yeah.
like when he's angry.
Yeah.
So like I bet parents are probably like, oh, I bet he's real mad, but they didn't even know it. Like I was scared to go in at halftime. We were sitting on the bench by ourselves for 2 minutes. No coaches on the bench. And I remember like laughing like, man, I wonder if I check myself in the game. Like you think he'll get mad at that?
Yeah. So the game is going on.
Oh yeah, it's 2 minutes to go with the second quarter and he left. And then like the halftime goes, I think we're down by like 15 or something like that. We're walking back there to the back and everybody's real quiet and we go there and we sit down and we're all sitting in this little room and I remember Justin Griffith, that was his sophomore year, and he goes, Coach is right, man. We're playing like a bunch of, like, he said some choice words, and I remember everybody was like, man, shut up. And then the next thing you know, we hear Coach Hurt in the back. He's like in the showers, and he's like, whoa! And we were like, oh, God. Dude, that man came out there, and, like, he came out, he had tears in his eyes just, like, looking at us. Like, just the sight of us, like, disgusted him all over again.
Coach Hurt has ripped a lot of ties, and my favorite Coach Hurts story.
Is he still at North?
Nah,
He's still
Coach,
okay.
I think he's in Atlanta.
Okay.
I talked to him this morning. But we were in D.C. We had taken a trip to D.C.
I know it.
Before the Christmas tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and we had played 3 games. And this one game that we played, everybody was just tired. Like we weren't playing defense. We were letting people drive by us. We weren't rebounding. We weren't boxing out. We couldn't make any shots. And we go in at halftime, and we're all just sitting there. And he comes in calmly, walks to the other end of the locker room. He grabs the water bottles and just slings them. Almost hit Joe Hedrick in the head.
Yeah.
And everybody's just like, and at the time, like, it was DC, it was cold, and everybody was just sitting there freezing. But you can see the steam coming off of his head at that. But I know Coach Hurts listening. What's up, Coach? But yeah, we had some memorable times, and the Christmas tournament was memorable. CIAA tournament.
Yeah.
There's certain things that make you want to play.
But it's like you saw his passion, so
Yeah.
like it made you want to play. Like
Yeah.
even like I mean, coaches now, like I don't think any coach is gonna be perfect. Like I mean, a lot of them, like that's kind of like their extra. Like that's taken away from their family. Like that's their extra thing.
Yeah.
But like when you see one that like really that's what they love, and you can see they take a lot of pride in it, and they really care about the kids. That's how I always felt when I was in high school.
Man, Coach Stitt taught me one thing, that like it's a difference between high school coaches, like you said, they teach and coach, and then college when it's their livelihood. You know what I mean? How serious he took it. Like man, when we was losing, man, he didn't rock with it. Like I think he loved us, but like it wasn't happy go lucky. Like you know what I mean? Like it wasn't. You felt it. You know what I mean? Like even when you was winning, you still was kind of on edge. Like you had that healthy fear and no disrespect there, but I think he went extra hard because he was a white dude at the HBCU.
Yeah.
So like I think he had to go extra hard on that.
Because the guys always say when they do something, they look at the bench.
For
They
real.
know the sub coming.
Yeah.
If you turn it over, they can take a bad shot. Frank said,
If you miss a charge, like you missed a
Yeah.
charge, Coach Still, you coming out of there.
man, but everything was everything was structured with him, and he wanted things how he wanted because I think he knew, being a white coach at HBCU, he was under the radar, under the microscope, and I think that's why he left before we went Division I, because he didn't want to tarnish his record, because he knew what was coming. He knew that storm was coming. We won 5 games that season, so I mean I don't blame him with that.
Man, Kurt told me something about that season that was profound. Like, he was like, Shad, he was like, man, I've never lost 17 times in a row in anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not joking. Yeah, and I'm not joking on it. It's just like, it made me think, like, man, like, that's real, bro. Like, when you these smaller D1s and D2s playing these money games, like you said, that take a toll on the on your psyche, bro. Like when he said it, I could see it in his face, like, bro. And he came from a winning high school program.
Kurt came from West Shore.
Yeah. Shout out to Kurt, man. Where Kurt at, bro?
Kurt was here on the last episode.
Okay.
Yeah, Kurt was in here. But before we wrap up, I want to, highlight you guys' programs and everything like that, and just talk about how you started with your program and where it's located at, so people listen to the pod can send clients, students, or whoever they may to them.
I got you. I'm located at One Athletics. It's right there, right close to North Davidson High School. It my buddy Corey Wright, he's the one that started it. He does pretty much like weights and speed and agility, but he's also a football coach. He's the offensive coordinator for the high school, and he's great. I've learned so much from him, like especially like when it comes like the diet and like the weightlifting. Like he's really good at what he does, and he trains. He's got a couple professional baseball players and stuff like that. And like growing up, we didn't have that. Like I didn't have nobody that trained a professional athlete near me that I could like tell my mom, hey, I want to go work out with them. But it's like sometimes I think kids nowadays, I don't know if they really, you know what I'm saying, like take advantage of it like they should. But either way, we're located there at One Athletics. He runs, we have speed classes going on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and weights Monday and Wednesdays. And then he trains people individually, and I have my own little like basketball space. We're hoping to expand. We're I'm hoping in the next year or so we actually have like a gym, like a basketball court, and like turf and the weight room. So we've been trying to figure out where we can go to get something like that going. But
I understand.
pretty much that's about all I got going on.
What is your age groups?
Gosh, man, I really I've trained anywhere. I got 3 8-year-olds, and then all the way up to like I got a couple kids that play like in college that I messed around with last year. But it kind of ranges. But I mean, if you follow me on social media, it's Coach Gryder on Instagram or Matt Gryder. I got 9-year-olds doing the same stuff that my high school kids are doing.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the end of the day, I think if anybody wants to work or get better, it can happen. I guess I'm in a weird space right now where I don't have a lot of room for. I'm not even pushing for myself right now. I'm trying to slowly ease into it because really I'm full up every week, and I feel bad like when people reach out to me and they like you reached out to me about your nephew I think like a month or two ago, or somebody that wanted to train with me, and it's like I don't have any spaces. So
It's a good problem to have, bro.
but that's why this summer we're gonna try to figure it out to where
Yeah.
like if we can get some more space and more availability, I think we're gonna be doing some camps this summer too. So but other than that, that's about all I got going on.
Well, I'm on IG at Kingdom Train, Kingdom_Train, Kingdom Life Skills Academy. Operating in the Charlotte metro area, mainly Union County. I'm operating out of a church, Mill Creek Baptist, 2 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays after school from 3 to 5. Right now, I'm mainly working with high school players. You know, I do work with younger players, really based on skill level. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily put an age.
So you do like group work? Like
I do small group work, and then like I said, I coach travel ball too, so I have to balance that. But Kingdom Life Skills Academy, you can just DM me at Kingdom Train, or hit me up, text me 704-443-1658. Like I said, we can get some work in. I'm looking to build, you know what I mean, and expand to where I can get a permanent location. Got some stuff in the works for this summer, some camps and clinics, as you said. But like I said, hopefully I have my permanent location here in the next year or so.
All right. Well, there you have it, fellas. I mean, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for coming through the way. I appreciate it, and hopefully our listeners can take from it. You know, we try to give our listeners anything that they can give to someone else or take from as a lesson. And I think both of you guys, explained yourselves really well. And I'm proud to have you guys on here. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate
you having us, man.
Yes, sir.
Keep going, man. Keep building. Proud of you for that, bro.
I know this is pretty dope. I
Yep.
told him like when I
Yeah.
first saw it, I was like, it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yep. Hopefully we can keep going.